Yo, what is going on, boys? Welcome back. It is MMA Jack, and today we are going to be breaking down the main card of UFC 314. First time in a while we've had a really stacked pay-per-view that I'm really excited for. UFC's been pretty up and down this year. I think a lot of us expected more than is happening right now, but hopefully this card can turn around the narrative. Usually the Miami cards deliver, so let's hope. Thanks for the support on the last video. We did really well. Over 300 views, we gained a couple subs, and we went 5-0 again. It keeps happening, fellas. I'm telling you, we're on a roll here, and we're going to hopefully go 5-0 again on this main card. Although I will say it is very, very hard to predict these fights. A lot of these fights are very, very close. But I do think there are some good underdog opportunities for the odds. So if you enjoy the content, like, comment, subscribe, please. It's free to you. It helps me out a lot, especially as a smaller channel. On these videos where everyone likes and comments a lot more, I get so many more subs and activities, so helps me out a lot. And let's get into this main card, guys. Really appreciate the support. Kicking off the main card, Dominic Reyes, the people's favorite, versus Nikita Krylov, who has potentially been fighting in a war, which is an insane fucking story. He hasn't fought in 2 years, and he lives on the border of Russia and Ukraine, so who knows what this guy's been going through, but really tough fight to predict here, and I know the odds are a little bit wide. They're not crazy, but I do think Nikita should win this fight. But also, man, with Dominic Reyes 2.0, the comeback, here's what it comes down to. Nikita's a better wrestler. Dominic is a better striker. Dominic has shown pretty good takedown defense in the past. He's been able to shuck some of Jones's takedowns off of him, which is really impressive. But that was also a couple years ago at his peak. He's 35 now, so he's more likely on the decline. Krylov is 32, but he hasn't fought in over 2 years, and he's looked pretty damn good every time he's fought. He's kind of the dark horse of the division. He went toe-to-toe with Ankalaev, beat Gustafsson, Volkanovski, which has aged really well, and finished Ryan Spann easy money in round 1. So I want to pick Nikita Krylov because he hits really hard on the feet too. And I don't think Dominic Reyes is as dangerous on the ground as he is, and Reyes has one of the worst chins in the entire UFC, so I'm kind of talking myself here into picking Nikita Krylov, but there's something that's just like telling me, like, Reyes is going to go on the second title run. I don't think he's ever going to be a champion again, but the ring rust, it's really tough. I'm going to go with Krylov as a safe play. I think a lot of people are going to be going on Reyes just because of the name value, but I do think there's a serious chance that Krylov could crack the chin again and Reyes could lose. So I think the safe play here is Nikita Krylov. Wouldn't be mad if you picked Dominic Reyes, but I'm going to go with Krylov. Next fight up, we got Yair Rodriguez and Patricio Pitbull, the Bellator debutant. This is another tough one because Patricio's a little bit out of his prime, but for the past couple years, he's been known as probably the biggest star outside of the UFC, or at least one of them. Nasty power on the feet. He's got the grappling as well. He has 12 wins by knockout, 12 by submission, 12 by decision, so he's totally split. He can win anyway. My only concern about this fight is he's out of his prime. He's 37 years old. He went 24-6 in Bellator, which, Bellator isn't as good as the UFC. We all know that, but it's still a pretty impressive record. But recently, he's been losing in other promotions. He got knocked out in his second to last fight. And Yair, on the other hand, he's tough too because he's an incredible striker on the feet. Very karate, bouncy, Muay Thai, loves the kicks. But his grappling is terrible. He got tossed around by Volkanovski. He got submitted by Ortega. And these are top-of-the-line guys, but he just doesn't have the dog in him when it comes to grappling or the training. And I feel like he kind of gives up a little bit. I don't know if you guys get that vibe too, but if it goes to the ground, he's not fighting his way out as hard as I feel like he should. So I want to go Pitbull based on the resume. If it was prime v prime, I would pick Pitbull. But recently, all the older fighters have been losing. And Pitbull's not that old. I mean, he's 37, I guess. So it's really tough because I could see Yair picking him apart on the feet. But, Pitbull also still has a lot of power. He can knock a lot of people out, and his grappling too. I could see him neutralizing Yair striking with the grappling. So Give me a risky play here. Let's go Patricio Pitbull. Have the Michael Chandler effect come into the UFC and beat an up-and-comer like Chandler took out Dan Hooker and then put him straight into a title shot. Just kidding. I don't know what's going to happen with them. Again, I'm not very confident on these picks, guys. I would just kind of stay away betting-wise. But I think Pitbull will get this done, but not confident level picks. So let me know what you guys think in the comments if you agree or disagree. But let's move on to the next fight. Now here we got potentially the people's main event. I mean, the hype around this fight is crazy, and I'm honestly so glad that there's some beef on this card because that's bringing the excitement that we need to the UFC right now. Shit's been so boring recently. Joan Silva and Bryce Mitchell. This is another one where I'm like, oh, dude, I could see it 50-50. Like, I think Bryce is totally getting disrespected on the odds here. I'm going to say this. I think Joan Silva is going to win this fight. But if you have a couple extra dollars, sprinkle it on Bryce Mitchell. Like, oh, dude, I don't understand how he's almost a plus 300 underdog. And I've said this in the past and been totally wrong, but Gene Silva's grappling has not been tested. He got taken down by Charles Jourdain, who, to be fair, does have some pretty solid grappling, and I think people do sleep on him. And Joan Silva got up right after Jourdain took him down and ended up knocking him out. But he's definitely never faced anyone nearly to the caliber of grappling of Bryce Mitchell. His wrestling is great. His takedown entries are great. He's pulled off some crazy submissions before. And he's just dominated some veterans like Edson Barbosa, Dan Ige, and he took down Ilya as well, which just makes me question, could he do the same to Joan Silva? He definitely could. But also at the same time, Joan Silva's on a great run right now, training with the Fighting Nerds who seem to be producing incredible fighters. He has insane knockout power. I watched him fight live in Seattle, and he was just playing with Melsik Bagdasaryan, who is a really good kickboxer. So basically for this fight, wrestling goes to Mitchell, striking goes to Joan Silva. There's a massive edge in the striking to Joan Silva. He probably will find Mitchell's chin and put him out, but do not be surprised if Bryce Mitchell is able to take him down, neutralize the striking, and take this to a decision or maybe even a submission. Who knows? This is an unknown. We haven't seen Joan Silva tested like this. I'm going to trust the odds makers because they usually are right, so we're going to play Joan Silva here by KO TKO. But like I said, if you got a little extra money, sprinkle it on Bryce because you never know what could happen. I love this fight. Co-main event, Michael Chandler, Paddy the Fatty, 5 rounds, Miami, Florida. This is another one, bro. I'm like, I don't know who's going to win. When this first got announced, I was thinking Michael Chandler. I'm like, okay. Paddy's never fought anyone who hits nearly as hard on the feet, which is so true. I think the closest you could compare it to is Bobby Green, who is honestly pretty washed up at the time that he fought Paddy. And Chandler does hit like a truck, but he's also almost 40 years old. And that's what's kind of changed my process in predicting this fight. So I'm going to lean with Paddy here. It's just the older, younger guy thing, man. This has been happening so much recently. We're seeing the older stars get beat out by these younger guys who, prime for prime, I think if you put them up, I think Chandler wins this all day. I think he sleeps Paddy. And don't get me wrong, there is still a really good chance that Chandler could put Paddy to sleep. There's a lot of things in his favor. The power. I think he's a better wrestler than Paddy is. I think jiu-jitsu Paddy is definitely better than Chandler is. And that's where he could shine here. Let's not forget Dustin Poirier submitted Michael Chandler. Now that was after a lot of damage, which I don't think Paddy will inflict nearly as much damage on Chandler as Dustin did. But like I said, getting older, and I think that gives Paddy a lot more opportunity to submit him here. But then again, I look at it and I'm like, man, I don't know. I think Chandler's going to put him out. So I'm going to lean Paddy here. I know I keep going back and forth on every fight, but it just truly is really hard to predict. I'm going to go with the younger guy. He's got more momentum. Chandler's 1-4 in his last 5. I think we see a scenario where Chandler gets close to putting him out. Paddy rallies later and finishes Chandler here. Could be a TKO as well. Maybe some ground and pound. Yeah. Be careful with your bets on this one, fellas, because I definitely would not do any parlays. I would be doing straight bets if you're going to be betting, because your shit could get busted real quick here, especially moving into this main event. Before I get into the breakdown for this main event, I just want to say I'm excited because this title fight's a win-win. If Volk wins, we have Volk back as the champ. Everyone loves Volk. And if Diego Lopes wins, we have a new exciting featherweight champ who's not going to put on shitty, boring performances like Ankalaev or some of the newer champs we've been having. So this is really good for the sport. This card is great for the sport, and I have really high hopes for it. Going into the fight breakdown, another one where it's like either one of two things are going to happen, and it's 50-50 in my opinion. Either Volkanovski is going to survive those first 1 to 2 rounds and cruise to a decision, or unfortunately Lopes is going to catch one of our goats on the chin and put him out. I'm more inclined to think that the latter is going to happen. There was a stat I saw earlier, and it's every champion who was over 35 years old and fought for the belt lost. It was like 0-12 in the lightweight divisions and below, which are the most active divisions. This is the chance that Volk has to break that streak, but unfortunately, I think coming off of 2 knockout losses back-to-back, including as well losing that really hard-fought unanimous decision to Makhachev, I think it's bad news for Volk here, and I love Volkanovski just as much as the next guy, but I got to be real. It's the young guy, old guy theory that's been showing a lot lately. It showed last weekend in the fight with Emmett versus Murphy. You're just not as fast, especially when you've gotten your chin cracked like that twice, and he's been out for like a year now. Diego Lopes is the younger fighter. He hits like a fucking truck. He just dominated Brian Ortega. He went weeks' notice, went neck and neck with Movzar, who is 19 or 18-0 right now, just beat Aljo. You got to lean Diego Lopes here if you're playing it smart, because he has more ways to win, I believe, especially with a compromised Volkanovski. Now, I hope, honestly, just as a fan, I hope Volkanovski wins this. Who doesn't love Volk? He put on an incredibly entertaining fight, super chill guy, cooking with Volk. Like, he's awesome. But I think the smart play here is to go with Diego Lopes to get it done early. Now, I will say, if this fight goes over round 2, you get your ass on your phone and immediately live bet Alexander Volkanovski, because he is probably going to get it done if he can survive that early rampage. I'm just worried with the last couple fights how he's fought. He's not going to survive the early rampage. Regardless, though, incredible card. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with any of my takes. I respond to every comment, and I love to see you guys interact with the video. If you're new to the channel, welcome. And again, please like, subscribe, turn on notifications if you enjoy the content. Love all you boys and girls. Enjoy the card this weekend, and we'll see you for the next card.